Hello and welcome everybody. This is your host Learvok, and you are just in time for a Lego MOC showcase. In this case, we're doing a Lego Bionicle MOC showcase. So for those of you who don't know, which is probably a lot of you, Bionicle is my favorite system, my favorite Lego thing, period. System theme, whatever. I loved Bionicle growing up. For those of you wondering what Bionicle is, I will have to point you to the numerous other Bionicle fans who have done a lot better job explaining the series of what Bionicle is. I will recommend Nickel and Planet Ripple's Lego Rewind episode 30 Bionicle. I think it was episode 30 or episode... It's the final episode of his Lego Rewind series. Or was. I think he still technically does... He's done one after that, but I think he stopped numbering them, and it's kind of more infrequent sort of thing. But Bionicle is the last of his main series, and it's about an hour long, but it's worth watching it just to learn everything there is you need to know about Bionicle. But yeah. As for what we're looking at here, we're looking at the 7th Toa, a modified version of the Toa Nuva, Takanuva. So this is the first episode of a 7-part series where I rebuilt the original Toa Mata and gave them articulation using a mixture of CCBS, the character creature building system that was later introduced in Hero Factory onward, and the original Bionicle systems. And you're probably wondering, why are you starting with the 7th Toa that was introduced 4 years after the original? Well, because I only made one Toa Nuva, Takanuva here. All the others are the original their original forms, also known as the Toa Mata forms. Just because we fans have to give labels to everything, we can't just call them Toa because there's many different Toa, and you get the idea. So it's Toa Mata. And I figured, well, he's the only one here that's not a Toa Mata. He started off as Toa Nuva, so I could at least show off all the basic design principles I used for the Toa Mata while showing off this guy. So that way, when I go to do other videos, I will refer you to this video as the baseline to show everything off. So, with that said, real quick, before we get into Takanuva here, let's go ahead and take them apart real quick and show off the design principle of the Toa Mata build. Or the Toa Mata / Toa Nuva build. So, first I'll take apart all the limbs and show off the body here. So you can tell how the body is already constructed, and there's a few reasons why the body is constructed in this way. Let's start with the leg pieces here. We have these pass-through ball joints, a 5-link axle to connect them to, and that's about it. The reason I did a pass-through ball joints is because, unfortunately, the regular ball joints here, they do not stay securely on. And that one actually gave me some struggle. Whatever. And they have a tendency to fall off when you try to pose them. So I'll try move the legs around and just kind of just pops off. Heck, poor Lewa, I moved him around a few times and his legs would just fall off just from me moving him around once. So I had to switch over to the ball joints here. Takanuva has red joints here. Everyone else except for Tahu has black joints, because they only made 2 colors for the pass-through. Tahu has red joints. The only reason Takanuva has red joints is because I haven't just changed them out yet. So yeah, as for the legs themselves, they all use the same general design principle. They have the CCBS double ball joint socket piece, so that you can put armor on it, and an old school Bionicle leg / arm piece. In this case, this is the Toa Metru arm. That usually has some flourish on there if I could find inspiration for it. Not everyone has the flourishes. And then as far as the feet goes, everyone has the same kind of old school Bionicle feet. In this kit, not the same old school, all of them have different feet, but they're all from Bionicle. The old Bionicle feet. In this case, we have the gold Toa Metru foot with the pearl light gray connector piece. Also known as the better looking silver piece. Because the actual silver piece doesn't look as good. In fact, I actually learned through Bricklink that these are pearl light gray, not silver. But yeah. Chest piece. I'll go ahead and get into the chest here. Ooh, arm's getting tired. I'll go ahead and move this up here to show off the chest. Not too much with the chest, just, put an armor piece of some sort to kind of signify their Toa form. As for the arms here, we use the same pass-through ball joints, a 4-length axle with a stop, so that it keeps the ball joint in place, half bush, so it gives some distance from the arm, so it allows for more easy posability. And then the arm goes through the Toa body into a little filler piece here. In this case, it's this little two-side axle piece that goes, two-side lift arm that goes into the actual neck joint here, which is this little, whatever this piece is called. I loved these pieces when I love these pieces so much. They're so useful. So yeah, let me go ahead and pop the neck off. There we go. That was a hard one to pop off. But yeah, so it just kind of goes in with a little two-axle piece, with a little lift arm in. You can also do like a half bush. I experimented with a few of the Toa later on, and then it's kind of slide in, it locks everything in place. So we'll do that again with this one. Slide it all the way down. Slide right in the middle. Slide it in and lock it into the piece here. So just lock everything into place. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. My brain just kind of decided to act up on something. So yeah. And that allows us to put the arms on, and we'll go ahead and show off the arms. They're much the same as the legs, only these use the CCBS pieces in general. There we go. Had a bit of problems with my recording software there, slowing down on me. Move the sword out of the way. So yeah, they use the same kind of CCBS system here, only this is primarily CCBS. Actually, primarily being it's all CCBS except for the hands, which we'll get into that in just a second. Gives us armor options. Gave him some more bulkier armor up on the shoulder because this is kind of supposed to represent his original shoulder pauldron. Which I noticed something interesting about the original Takanuva design. His gold armor only goes up to the top half of his body. Everything else is just pure white. So yeah. So anyway, going to the hands, all the Toa have these same kind of hand pieces. This is what they originally had from Takanuva onward, up until the Glatorian arc, when they actually gave them specified hand pieces. I chose these because I felt it'd be a little nostalgic, and just because I kind of like them better, at least for the Toa. As for the neck joints for the heads, these are just a 3-size axle with a stopper, a pass-through ball joint, a bush piece, that's really what it's called, to kind of hide the brown axle so that it doesn't get in the way of the design of the characters. And then finally just the standard Toa Mata head with whatever color the Toa is. In this case, I chose the flat gold for Takanuva because I thought it just makes sense. And then of course their masks. In this case, I have the Trans Glitter Mask of Light for Takanuva. The main reason I have this is because it is actually cheaper than getting his standard gold mask. No joke, I just recently ordered his gold mask, and so that should be coming in the mail soon. That thing cost me $12. And the only reason I got it at $12 is because it normally costs $24 everywhere else. Seriously, it is expensive to get that mask. Despite the fact it's the mask that came with freaking Takanuva. The special edition crystal mask that also came with Takanuva is significantly cheaper at roughly around $6 on average. It's not the most expensive mask, but that's at the point when masks are starting to get expensive. For example, when getting all 6 of the original Toa masks in their proper colors, except for Pohatu, which we'll get to that when we get to him, Kopaka's mask here wound up being the most expensive at about $1.50, $1.60. Yeah. That was the most expensive mask. Until I got this one, and until the gold one, the actual gold one comes in. So yeah. Let's get into actual Takanuva here. Obviously Takanuva is done up in mostly gold. I used white where I could, with that being the legs and the body piece. Everything else is just kind of standard colors, just because that's what I could do. I don't think they make white pieces of the arms, and I know they only make like red or black versions of the leg of the double ball joint socket pieces. Which, wow, really? You're not gonna make? Okay, Lego, don't make more colors of stuff. Just keep making red and black, because that's what everyone wants. They want their freaking red and black OC. There's a joke in there, I just don't know what happened to it. It just wasn't that good. There we go. I gave him the black cape just kind of help his colors pop out a bit more. Like I'm kind of realizing that the cloth is giving this kind of Vanta black effect, where it's like all the colors all the light is kind of like vanishing behind him. The cape is a modified version of, I think they said it was a Darth Vader cape from a Lego Technic set. Either an old Lego Technic set or one of the newer Star Wars buildable figure sets. But I cut the bottom of it down to size so it actually fit on the size of Toa, because these are actually quite a bit smaller than even the G2 Toa, believe it or not. And if I had one of the G2 Toas out, I would totally show it off right now, but they're in storage right now. Anyway, regardless, they're still taller than like the original though, by a bit. So yeah, done up in gold. The thing that kind of made him difficult to build for a while was getting his leg pieces correct. Because for the longest time it was just this minus the 2 gray pieces. and this piece is on the side, giving him kind of like a very thick hip look that I didn't really like. But then oddly enough, I put the cape on him because the cape was originally meant for a different character, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But the cape just was too big for him, so I went with another cape. And I put the cape on Takanuva and started moving pieces around, and it kind of made more sense to put these armor pieces on his leg, kind of give him kind of the shin guard sort of look. The problem is, without the blue little, there we go, these little studs with the holes through them pieces, it just goes way too close, and it actually locks up his legs if you bend his legs down too much. And by too much, I mean like basically where they're at right now. So I put the little trans blue pieces in there to kind of give him some space, a bit of a spacer, and it worked out fine. Gave him just the right amount of space he needed, and it looked good. So yeah, so the cape stays on him because it kind of helped save him for me. As for his weapon, he has a golden katana. I did play around with the idea of giving him his original staff, but I kind of like the idea of him having a golden weapon. I haven't fully given up on the staff though, and if I do decide to go with the staff, I might just. I don't think I'll make an update video because it's just going to be for like just one weapon. But yeah, just imagine him with. Actually, you know what? Let me do this real quick. Gotta make a quick modification. And there. His original staff. And if you want to do what they did in the movie and have it fold out, there. His staff that turns into a scythe that's actually a Coley stick. Yeah, the movie was really weird. But yeah, so there we go. Got to show that off after all. Yeah, so one thing you can do with the sword is, and this is something I like to do with all my weapons, is have a way to kind of like store them off of them, or at the very least have all the pieces connect together like this, so that you can easily store the weapon aside and not lose all the pieces. Not have to worry about where all the pieces go. It becomes a bit. Oh yeah, and before I forget, let's go ahead and show off the scythe/staff with everything connected. There we go. No real way to store the extra pieces here for when you put it in staff mode, but whatever. It is what it is. I've never been able to figure that out. But yeah. In this case, you got this little handle piece you break in half, flip it around, and slide into the hands. This also works with the actual hand pieces that later buildable figures use. So yeah. Like I said, I like to do this because it makes it easier for like storage purposes. I also like to have the little pieces that have the hole in them, so I can give them like storage on their back or on their waist or whatever. Haven't really done that with Takanuva yet, but I don't know, maybe one day, hopefully. But yeah, so that is Lego Bionicle Takanuva ReBuilt. At least that's what I'm calling it. The ReBuilt version. So yeah. Like I said, this is going to be the first of probably a 7-part series. So this will be the episode that I refer to in later series if you want to learn about the if you want to learn about the basic build of the others. Much like how I did with the Lego Atlas. Or it's the Atlas mech, I should say. So yeah, with all that said, I'll see you guys later.